Minnesota Republican Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, who thinks, well, Rebecca has a good point here, and the president's trying to take our attention off the real problem in this Gulf mess. Rebecca's not saying this to the congressman who says maybe himself. Congresswoman, old deflection going on here?
Well, it seems like it is, Neil. The number one issue at this point is capping that leak. All of us are horrified as we see this oil spewing into the Gulf region. We need to get it capped. We see all the wildlife that's being impacted. And so that's the number one issue, that and the investigation. It seems like the president has leapt to judgment. And so at this point, all he's looking for is the right person to blame and the right person to extract punishment on.
What do you think he has to say tomorrow to change the dynamics of this debate, if at all?
Well, I think the best thing would be for everyone involved is that the president and the administration are actively involved in stopping the leak and then iterating what they have done to take those steps. The fact that we have the best and the brightest on this effort to actually stop the leak. If the president, in fact, will just be focusing on we need to have a new cap and trade policy, I think that will be dispiriting to so many people here in D.C. as well as people all over the country, because then it will appear that they're trying to capitalize on this catastrophe for political gain as opposed to actually stemming the tide of the flow of oil in the Gulf.
You know, but Congressman, we're 2 months or so into this, right? And the last Democratic president who admitted a mistake, and a big one, and came out the richer for it in the polls was John Kennedy, who really inherited the Bay of Pigs disaster, and yet took the full blame and brunt of all the criticism for it. And a few days later, and only a day or two after the incident he did this, he was soaring in the polls. But isn't it too late for a mea culpa like that on the part of this president, even for part of the blame?
You know, I don't think it's ever too late to step up to the plate and be presidential and bring the force of your office to bear on solving a problem. That's what really has been lacking here, Neil. There hasn't been a sense that the administration has been actually looking for the solution. They've been looking for blame. They've been looking for opportunity. And it's funny because it seems like whenever there's a problem, government somehow always tries to be the winner in the end. But really, the disaster here is the ecological disaster. And I think the president really could do a lot for himself if he focused on actually solving the problem. That's what the American people are looking for, that kind of leadership.
But we're not seeing that, and this is not to cast aspersions on the president, but he has a record here of either blaming the prior administration for the economic ills, blaming the fat cat health insurance guys for creating our health ills, going after big bankers, big brokers for all our financial ills, and on and on and on. So it would be a bit of a change in form and just procedure for him to change his stripes now, right? So seeing if he doesn't do that, then what can we expect after tomorrow's speech? Anything?
I think what we'll be expecting is the president trying to turn the corner for political gain and trying to advance a cap and trade agenda here in Washington, D.C., something that the American people have roundly said no to. They don't want the federal government to take over the energy industry and control it. They don't want to have to pay double like they'd have to in Minnesota for their monthly energy bills. They don't want a national energy tax. But it looks very likely that that's what the president wants to do by resurrecting this new Kerry-Lieberman carbon tax bill, and it's not something that will help the economy right now. If anything, it will bring the economy quicker to the brink than helping us out.
Good stuff, interesting stuff. Congresswoman, thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.